Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Let's talk about some movies and beer.
Dude, let's talk about a specific movie and this specific beer.
Yes.
I'm excited to talk about both of these things.
Yes. We didn't spoil it at all, which I'm quite surprised
we
by.
kind of spoiled it a little bit in the last video.
Kind of, but we didn't directly. We said we saw it. We didn't directly say that.
Yeah, we didn't say we were gonna actually review this one. Which, I mean, for a lot of our regular viewers, well, probably about half of our regular viewers, will have no idea what we're talking about.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other half are going to be excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Of which we are probably going to talk to you in the next few coming days. Hopefully, you'll have seen it by then. But we're gonna talk about the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie.
Mugen Train, yes.
Demon Slayer, for the uninitiated, is an anime that came out in 2019. Wildly popular, made by a very well-known, very awesome animation studio, UFO Table, and yeah, the anime itself is just like, I mean, the animation is just so spectacular.
Pretty. So pretty. The storytelling's great.
The storytelling is great. The story itself is your pretty basic, shonen monster of the week kind of,
Yeah.
You find a demon, figure out how it fights, figure out how to kill it, and then kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do that. But, like, the different ways that they have to figure out, because all the demons have different powers, and as we get progressively further and further in, like, they have even more complex powers and can do even more crazy things. So the abilities that they have to develop in order to fight these things get more and more complex and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it all focuses around breathing techniques, and that just leads into stellar animation. The sound is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are wonderful, and yeah, this movie is basically a continuation of the. It's literally a continuation of the anime. Picks up right
after
where the season ended.
Yeah. Season's 25 episodes.
26. I think.
I thought it was 25.
I think it's 26.
Is it 26?
I think it's 26.
Either way, 25, 26. It's around there.
Yeah, it's in the longer department for a single season.
Yeah.
But the second season's coming out soon, so looking forward to that.
I think what, summer? I said.
I think so. It might be fall, but
it might be fall. But it's sometime this year.
Yes, it is starting this year for sure.
So if you haven't seen Demon
Slayer, you shouldn't watch this video.
No.
And then if you haven't seen the movie, once we talk about the beer, don't watch this video.
Don't watch the video. Come back.
Yeah, come back, see the movie. You won't regret seeing the movie.
No, it is spectacular.
Even if you don't know anything about the story, it's still a spectacular movie to watch. But you'll obviously get a much better grasp and understanding of the movie if you've seen the anime, which most people that are going to see this movie have seen the anime. They pretty much, just like I did, binge watched the entire season up into watching the movie. So, yeah, it picks up right after the season ends, and there's no, recaps. There's no, awkward 10-15 minute time where you gotta learn who everybody is and everything. It just jumps right into the story, which is, for us, is spectacular. But, for a lot of, anime movies where you actually have, long introductions or recap sections or things like that, waste no time. And in a 2-hour movie, that becomes very important. But
they were stretching it even with the 2 hours. It seems.
Yeah. I mean, this just as easily could have been a short arc in the anime. This could have been
this could have been a
6 or 7 episodes of
most of
season 2. maybe 8 episodes of season 2, and it would have been just as good.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing it in theaters is just that much cooler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was seeing it on that, everything on the big screen just was so pretty.
Oh yeah.
And like the way that everything that was done was just great.
Oh yeah.
It's just so pretty, spectacular, and the characters are just so funny, and like they're relatable, and like it's just yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Demon Slayer again.
Oh, totally. I mean,
I really want to watch this movie again too.
I really want to watch the movie again. I was actually hoping we were going to watch the movie again today before shooting the video. Understandably, we didn't because we ended up doing other stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely going to see this movie again.
Oh yeah,
in theaters. I think my only criticism of this movie as a whole is that it does feel like just more episodes, and that it feels like it's going to belong as part of a watch through when you go to watch season 1 of the anime and then you watch the movie with it. Like, the movie isn't quite as great as a standalone sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's very much a continuation and lead into the next season.
Yeah.
And so that's probably my only real major criticism of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is pretty kind of nitpicky. if I do say so myself.
Kind of, yeah. It's not uncommon that they do that with anime. It's like stuff like that, like to kind of bridge the gap between the 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, but I just see
this is one of the. This is one of the first times though that it's literally like it's just a short arc in the manga.
Yeah.
And they just adapted that into one movie instead of making it part of the next season.
Mm.
Which, one, brilliant idea on their part because it's one of the highest grossing animated movies ever. In Japan, it was the biggest release, and as of now in the U.S., it actually worldwide surpassed Spirited Away as the highest grossing animated movie of all time. So that's pretty spectacular. I mean, just in a money making, sort of way. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It just shows the actual potential for doing something like that, and then it shows the absolute, pinnacle of hype an anime can reach as far as a shonen anime. Because I remember seeing, Dragon Ball Super Broly in theaters, which that is more of a standalone movie, where you can just I can just pop that in anytime and watch that. I don't need to watch the rest of the season. Yeah. Which is an undertaking in and of itself.
Yeah.
100 and something episodes. I think it's 140 something.
140, 150, something like that.
Yeah. So, that's a bit more of an undertaking if I wanted to watch it in continuity. But that's definitely more of a standalone movie. But yeah, as far as what happens in the movie, I mean, I didn't see a lot of what happens coming. I was pleasantly surprised throughout. I had, there's hints laid throughout the movie that kind of tell you what's going to happen, but the way that it happens kind of has you guessing throughout the entire thing. At least for me. I don't know about you.
I was kind of hoping for a couple things differently, but I did see a lot of it coming. I was just hoping that it wouldn't happen. It's just
we'll get into the specifics of that because I know exactly what you're talking about in the spoiler review. But yeah, no, I totally get what you mean because they do kind of foreshadow it in a very anime way. The kind of tropes where characters do something and immediately, as somebody who's seen dozens of anime knows, like, that usually means that this is going to happen. And that does happen in this movie. So it kind of, like, if you're a big anime nerd and you notice stuff like that and you pick apart movies and shows like that, you'll see some of the twists coming. But the way they executed it, I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
So, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I would, honestly, as a standalone movie, I think I would give this, like, a 4.5. But as a Demon Slayer fan, and watching this whole thing unravel, and, like, knowing that it's leading into season 2, 5 out of 5. Easy.
Yeah.
Couple little nitpicks here and there, but oh man, do I...
there's like very
few
things that you can that you can really pick out and like that bring it down negatively.
Yeah.
It's just a really well told, well done movie, and the art is so pretty.
The art and animation is just so mind-blowingly good, and some of the 3D stuff kind of was like jarring at first, but I mean they're like during a lot of fight scenes and stuff, you see such amazing use of the 3D and 2D arts colliding, especially in like the way they kind of move the camera and everything that you can do with just hand-drawn 2D animation, is really great, and it lends itself spectacularly to Demon Slayer and the way they do things in that show. But yeah, 5 out of 5 for me.
Same, yeah, definitely 5 out of 5.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it already and you are a fan of Demon Slayer,
go see it in the theater.
What are you doing?
If you could see it in the theater, by all means, go see it in the theater.
Absolutely.
If it's too late, buy the movie or any way that you can. Watch this movie. It is wonderful.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not going to be necessarily integral to the plot going forward, but it's going to be an enhancer of the plot, because there are things that characters learn and do in the movie that will transition further on, as every single fight in Demon Slayer kind of does, is the characters learn something different or something new, or gain some sort of insight and apply that further on. So, yeah. Definitely a must-watch.
Easily.
Like, by any means. If you want to see it in theaters, see it in theaters. Absolutely. The whole spectacle of it absolutely lends itself to, big screen, surround sound, being, like, laid back and comfortable. We saw that in the Dolby Cinema.
In the Dolby Cinema.
Which has that massive screen and the dynamic sound,
the sound,
and everything.
Just laying back and you're like, oh, yes.
It was, like, the parts where the characters are feeling anxious, it lends itself to, like, I felt more anxious in my seat. And just, like,
don't forget to breathe.
Don't forget to breathe, yeah. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about this beer, because we haven't even gotten into spoilers, and we're still talking about this movie.
Already like 14 minutes in.
Yep. We're revisiting a brewery we've done before, Clown Shoes. This is their New England IPA. It's a double dry hopped New England IPA. So when you say IPA, you typically think super bitter, hoppy, like floral. New England styles are more on the maltier side of IPAs, focusing a little bit more on balance and, bringing some of those hop characteristics to the front without them being like overly bitter and aggressive.
Yeah.
As West Coast
IPAs tend to be.
This is the Zen Garden. And, I mean, picked it, obviously, because it has some ties into, Japanese art and, stylings. But, the art on the can is just super cool.
It is.
And it just seemed like a unique style of beer that we haven't really talked about as much.
We don't usually talk about East Coast style IPAs.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about almost exclusively IPAs. It's almost like we're going to review movies and IPA. And occasionally we'll sprinkle in a stout.
That's not true. We did Beer Fest. We did the we did Oktoberfest.
Yeah, no, we have exceptions, but predominantly we are IPA.
Well, we like heavier beers.
Yeah, we like heavier beers, and IPAs and double IPAs tend to just kind of give us that flavor profile we're looking for.
They usually tend to be in our home range of percentage and taste.
Also tend to be the more creatively named and labeled
beers.
That's
definitely true.
I don't know, it just seems like because there's so many IPAs out there, and being in California, West Coast, we're just like a hub, especially Southern California, where we're just a hub of breweries everywhere. We get a ton of IPAs, and so in order to stand out from the crowd, you gotta, what's a name for your beer that's going to stand out? What's artwork? What's going to be a theme? And so IPAs we generally gravitate to pretty commonly. And I am by no means upset by that. I am so happy that every time we do videos that I get to drink a beer that I don't mind if we're drinking 2 or 3 of them throughout the video. You'll know if we're really not excited about a beer when you just see one. If you ever just see one,
it's true.
It's probably not a good beer. Unless it surprises us during the video, because sometimes we open it up and drink it for the very first time on camera. So,
like we are today.
Yeah. But I really like this beer.
I do too.
This is really good.
It's very well balanced. You do get the maltiness more. It's not nearly as bitter, but you still get that. You get some hop to it.
You
get that hop flavor to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like a bitter hop, which I thought it'd be a little bit more bitter because it's double dry hopped.
Yeah.
But it carries through that kind of dry flavor profile and gives you that maltiness, which really balances quite well together.
Yeah.
And it's just under 7%. I think it's 6.75%. If I had to venture a guess, I don't know if it says on the can, IBUs are probably in the 40s or 40s, probably.
Probably.
So not a very hop aggressive, not a very bitter beer. It's really nice, and
it is.
Honestly, I could sit and stare at this can. All the little detail that they put into the artwork for this can is just so cool.
Kind of like along the lines of the can that we got for shoot, what was that one? The pandemic one. That was WandaVision. Pandemic Blues?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the revision. Yeah, revision, but Pandemic Blues.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like how instead of revision you say revision, because you have to separate the vision part of it.
Yes, because it was part of the WandaVision.
Yeah. I want to revision that series too. I want to watch that again. But
it was good. It was very good.
Yeah,
but
as far as a beer that it's not the flavor profile that I typically look for a daily drinker. But I give this a solid 4.5 even.
Yeah,
this is nice. It's very well balanced. It's malty, caramely, with some nice floral notes coming through. It hits a lot of notes without being overly anything. It's it doesn't hit you in the face with too much of
either
one
way.
aspect
It's,
or another.
super balanced.
Just very well balanced. Yeah. And what more can you look for in a
Probably
beer?
why it's called Zen Garden.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'll give this a 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going for? 4.5 as well?
I'm gonna stick with the 4.5 because it's just got great flavor. It's good balance. Super easy to drink.
Very easy to drink.
Yeah, it's right there, like right in our, like getting pretty much to our wheelhouse.
It's like right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah. So
it's an enjoyable percentage where it's like it's not low, it's definitely not high.
Mm-hmm.
Under 7, so it's like, it's not going to be like a kick you in the butt if you have 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get you there, but it's just like a slow climb.
Exactly.
At least for us,
yeah.
We're casual drinkers.
Yes, for the casual drinker, it'll slowly get you. It's a slow climb, but for not so casual, you'll get there.
Feel it after 1 or 2. But yeah, so. That's the beer. Mm-hmm. That's our non-spoiler review. We're going to talk about this movie more in depth right now. Mm-hmm.
So spoiler warning.
If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it and then come back.
Yep. Spoiler warning.
So, going into this movie, I was really curious as to what kind of abilities the main antagonist was going to have, like the main demon.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause they get really creative with all the different abilities and themes and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's on the train. Like, it's got to be something really subtle. Because how much fighting can you really do on a train? Apparently a lot. But I was also right in that it was subtle.
True. In both aspects.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it.
Me too. I didn't overfill it this time. Get steady. Yeah, like the main demon antagonist uses dreams and basically puts the victims to sleep, lures them into dreams where they are so pleasant they don't want to leave,
mm-hmm.
and then wounds them in the dream.
Yeah, he kills their spirit.
Yeah.
Their spirit core.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember what it was exactly called, but
yeah.
like their spirit core or anything, which basically is like where like what drives them, what keeps them from giving up essentially.
Mm-hmm. And he does this by using manipulated children,
mm-hmm.
which I was like, oh shit, is Rengoku gonna freaking snap this girl's neck right now with bare hands?
I thought so too. I was like, oh no way.
Okay, so I do want to just like real quick, Rengoku off the bat is just like awesome.
Oh yeah,
like you don't even see him fight for the longest time.
He's just screaming out the
yeah. Like, oh wow, he's an oddball. I mean, all of the Hashira.
They're all weird.
Oddballs. With Giyu being probably the most even keel one.
Mm-hmm.
But freaking, he's very direct and
yes, he holds nothing back.
Yeah, it's like, and even when he's addressing you, he's staring ahead. Mm-hmm. So he's talking to Tanjiro, which is next to him, but he's just staring right ahead. And it just adds that little weird quirkiness that you expect from anime characters. Mm-hmm. And then, basically, he's very accepting of the kids right off the bat. And after Tanjiro's like, oh, this whole thing happened, like, I was trained in the water breathing techniques, but when I remembered my dad doing the fire technique, like, the fire dance, I was able to harness that, and it became a fire attack. Do you know anything about that, being the flame Hashira? And he's like,
I do not! I do not!
I do not!
I know nothing! I know nothing of this.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it's gonna be expected.
Yeah.
But, basically, he shows them that he's the shit, and then was all like, hey, be my students. And they all get, like, super excited and, like, big brother Ren, big brother Ren. And that was the first sign I'm all like, oh, he's gonna die. Oh, no.
Yeah, that was pretty much the signal for me, too. I was
I'm just like, oh, no.
Okay, well, that was kind of like the second red flag. The first one was the fact that they slowly panned to him when they first introduced him on the train. I was like, oh, no. Well, hopefully he's not a good character.
He was a great character.
He was a great character, and I was like,
he was a great character,
dang it.
Which makes the emotional impact at the end of the movie that much more.
Which I was like, all right, cool. Well, maybe he'll make it still. Like,
yeah,
maybe he'll make it still.
You know, even seeing it coming when the fight happens, they do such a great job of keeping it up in the air that there are moments where you, like, hold out hope. You're all like, oh, because he's fighting the third-ranked Kizuku.
At the end, yeah.
At the end, and you're like, well, he's only number 3. Like, there's still 2 more stronger than him. Like, but even then, you're just like, alright, he's gonna die. At best, he's gonna take him down with him.
Yeah. Which he almost
does.
He was so close.
So close. But I'm really glad that they didn't kill him, because the way that they would have killed him was with the sun coming up.
Yeah.
And that would have been a very unsatisfying ending to that character.
That would have been
who they
really lame.
Made look super cool.
Yeah.
In his very short screen time. But going back, I mean, the dream sequences. I mean, Tanjiro's dream sequences were probably, like, they're obviously the most emotionally hard-hitting ones, because obviously he's the main character, follow him throughout. We know what happens to his family, and, what happened to Nezuko, and, like, what would he want more than anything than to be reunited with his family, and his sister's human, and, all these things are back to the way they should be, but they're not. And there's a lot of very hard-hitting emotional moments, and you see that, like, even when things are going great, he's still, like, has these moments of just like, wait, what? But
yeah, and like his dream sequence was so hard to watch.
Oh man,
it was so hard.
The way they put in the family characters made it like to where you almost didn't want Tanjiro to leave them. Like they gave those characters so much emotion, and it was just like he's got to go, but like you don't want him to leave them behind, even though they're not real. And then the moment that they finally bring in Nezuko as a human to like keep him in the dream.
Man. That was so rough. That was the roughest part. Like that whole thing right there. Like that nearly got me. I was like, no, he has to do it again.
Yeah.
He has to lose all of them again.
Yep. Oh man.
That was so hard to watch. It was so hard to watch.
Seriously.
But yeah, he did it. It was great. It was super well done. Like, all the dream sequence, all the other, like, pretty much the other...
Zenitsu's dream sequence where he's just like in La La Land with Nezuko was hilarious. Overlord freaking Inosuke's was hilarious as well.
They're attacking the train.
Yeah.
It's like a gigantic centipede.
And it's paid off so well too, because it's like he knew he was in the dream and he's attacking the train, and before he's asleep he's like he wants to fight the train because he sees it as a giant metal monster. And then after he gets out of the dream, he gets to fight the train. Like, it's like a complete little story arc for him. It's so great.
It's perfect. And that's why he's my favorite character. Damn
He's such a great character.
He is.
Yeah. And then, oh man, I do have to say the animation when the demon turns into the train and that 3D animation is very jarring. It was like, but it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I can't say I didn't like it. It was like, oh, that's disgusting and revolting looking, and it seems so out of place. But it's like, that's
what it's supposed
to be. And
yeah.
I'm just like, I think they intentionally left that animation as it was to give you that feeling.
I really like the demon's voice too.
Yeah,
the demon's voice just added that much more level to it.
It was very like creepy and menacing, while also being like with that little hint of sweetness to it, to where it's just like he's a very soft-spoken character. He's not very like menacing, but everything he says is just like really creepy and weird, and And then when he introduces the nightmares,
yeah, oh god,
oh man. But that's the thing, is like he tries to use nightmares to break down people, and Tanjiro is just all like, I'm not going to believe that shit.
Yeah, they would never
that's
say
my
that.
family. They would never say that. I thought that was a really good moment for the movie when he says that, because it's just like, oh yeah, even when you know that somebody would never say something like that, like for a person that's maybe like depressed or very self-destructive, they like play those scenarios in their own mind. So it seems very believable, and then you realize that like he's not like that at all. Like he knows his family and just the way that they would feel towards him and everything. So even if he couldn't save them, they would still love him regardless. Hearing that come out was really nice. And oh man, the whole scene where the kid trying to wound Tanjiro gets into his subconscious, and it's just like tranquil. And it's the animation for that was so beautiful, like stunning. It was so simple, but it was so like it conveyed everything perfectly. And the fact that it's like, even Tanjiro's subconscious is just all like, oh, you want this thing? It could lead to my death, but here you go.
Oh yeah, he just wants to help others.
Yeah,
like be there for others. Be there for others.
All he wants in his heart is to help other people, and that's what makes the driving force in this character so great. And it's throughout the show you see him killing the demons, and then having like moments of sympathy with them, and but like even though you see that with a lot of shonen protagonists, it's usually like from a place of like being naive or like kid-like, where Tanjiro totally understands what's going on, and he knows that they have to die, but he does have that remorse of, if they hadn't been a demon, they could have lived a much better life, and that he truly does feel for them having gone through what they went through when they became demons, and even what it was like being a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes him such a great character to hinge the show on.
Yeah, he's one of the more unique main characters that I definitely liked. Not as cool as Inosuke, but you know what.
Inosuke is yeah. I mean, he's great. I have nothing bad to say about Inosuke. Like the freaking dirty hillbilly samurai wearing a freaking crazy ass boar's head, and he's like anime pretty boy underneath. I think even when Tanjiro sees him for the first time without the mask, he's like, he's beautiful. Like he has a little game moment right there. He's just all like, ah, damn.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I also love the ways that each character's subconscious defends itself.
Mm-hmm.
Rengoku just has such a strong will to survive that even asleep, his body will physically react to an attacker.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was totally gonna just snap that little girl.
I was waiting for it.
Hand.
I was waiting for it.
But
when they just did the long pause, I was like, oh no, she's not gonna die.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, he ain't gonna kill her because she is a human.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's gonna be, like, there's always been a clear-cut divide between, the Demon Slayers and the demons, is that the Demon Slayers pretty much put everything on human life.
Mm-hmm.
That's their whole reason for doing what they do. And, like, the I can't remember her name, the insect lady at the end of season 1,
mm-hmm.
She's got that whole spiel about, well, how many humans have you killed? And that's going to decide your punishment. And so, like, it kind of shows that, they value human life, obviously, in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
She actually puts, like, a value on it, in a way. In a weird way. It didn't actually mean that exact thing, but, the fact that she was willing to be any more lenient on somebody, on a demon, because of the number, even though she knew it was going to be a lie anyways. I don't know. Guess I was just rambling. But yeah, like, I knew he wasn't going to kill her, but it just looked like he was.
Yeah.
I think, well, we got Inosuke, who basically just chases the girl around relentlessly, and she just never even has a chance to attack his subconscious.
Mm-hmm. She didn't even get close. Yeah. She was the one that was screwed the most.
Yeah, 100%. And then Zenitsu's was definitely the funniest, because a boy comes into his subconscious, and he's just sort of like, how dare another man enter my world with Nezuko? There should never be another man.
He's got the shears. Massive shears.
The massive shears. It's so good. It's so funny. Like,
so funny.
That an attack on his subconscious is best defended because it was a guy that entered his subconscious. Like, I'm sure if it had been a girl, it would have been all like, no girl is as good as Nezuko. Like, how dare you try and replace her? I'm sure they would have done something like that, but the way they went with it was absolutely hilarious.
Yep.
Then, I mean, this is the parts that made it feel most like an anime was the way it was paced. Because, I mean, this movie could have ended in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, you got the main demon that they're fighting against, and
when they killed that demon, I was like, man, this movie seems short.
Yeah. I'm like,
I'm pretty sure that was like an hour
on for like an hour and a half.
I'm pretty sure that was like the hour and a half mark when they killed him.
Yeah, it was roughly about the hour and a half mark, maybe a little bit longer.
I was like, man, this seems really short.
Yeah, but then that last little quarter of the movie, maybe even less than a quarter of a movie, the fight between Rengoku and the number 3 demon.
The number 3 demon, yeah.
I forget his name.
I forgot his name too.
But damn. Like, if all the animation going through wasn't enough for you, then this fight just, like, epitomizes everything that UFO Table has done.
Oh, yeah, easily.
It's like they built up to this fight, even though story-wise you're not exactly sure why this fight's happening. Like, why does that demon show up? Where did he come from? There's no real, like, reason for it at all. But... and that was one other small nitpick, was like, why was he there in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Rengoku didn't have to die. Like, this character could have easily just not shown up. That being said, that fight scene was spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
Just
every moment of that whole thing.
Like, the constant, like, Rengoku just beating him down, and he's just coming back and, you know, just keeps hitting him. And when he finally unleashes his fighting spirit, and, you know, you're at the moment where it looks like he might actually win and everything, and then we get the cut, and he's got his fist through his stomach. And it's like, no! But then he's just like, and then he goes and slices his neck. And it's like, oh man, he's almost making it through. And then Tanjiro and Inosuke come in and, you know, try and help him out. And you're just like, maybe they'll do it. I don't know. Like obviously Rengoku's gonna die, but, like, maybe the combined efforts of all 3 of them and everything, you know? Like, overcoming their, you know, frail bodies now, like, that's kind of the whole point of that they were making in that scene was, you know, is because we're mortal, because we're human, is why we can become more powerful than even the most powerful demons. Mm-hmm. You know, it's because his whole thing was urging Rengoku to become a demon.
Mm-hmm. During the whole fight too.
Yeah, that was like his whole motivation for being there, pretty much, that he provides, is that he's there to turn Rengoku into a demon. Mm-hmm. And you know, obviously he refuses at every turn, even if it means that he can become more powerful than he could possibly ever imagine. It's
he wanted to fight him for all eternity, essentially.
Yeah. And obviously Rengoku, being the steadfast hero that he is, you know, refuses until he dies. But yeah, the animation for that whole fight scene was so spectacular. Even if that fight scene didn't make any sense, it freaking looked amazing. Mm-hmm. And we're definitely going to see a lot of that come into play for the upcoming season.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, man. This movie was just so good.
It was. It was very good.
Like, I could go to the theaters and just watch that fight scene. Of course, then I've been missing out on all the rest of the movie, which was also great. Yeah. Yeah, really, I have 3 nitpicks about it. Is it, 1, it just felt like a short season condensed into a movie.
Which it was.
But, like, it didn't need to be a movie, but it was great as a movie. Mm-hmm. I'm really happy it's a movie. And then, where the hell did Demon Number 3 come from? and then just, like, the sheer sob fest after Rengoku dies.
Yeah.
It was a little over the top. But,
yeah.
Like, it was still very emotional, and it hit all the right chords. You know,
he just got his sword back.
I know, right? Tanjiro hurls his sword and impales him. But he's just all like, well, yeah, whatever, and he runs away. But we never actually see him remove Tanjiro's sword. We see him take out the broken blade from Rengoku's sword.
Yeah.
But we never actually see him take Tanjiro's sword out of his body as he's fleeing from the sun. And yeah, that was another like point that he was making. And so like, you're afraid of the sun. Like, we get to live in the sunlight, live and die in the sunlight.
We have to. Well, we hunt you at night when you're strongest.
Yeah. Calling him a coward for running away. Yeah. It's like, literally burst into flames and just vanish. Centuries of becoming one of the greatest fighters in the world, and just gone because he didn't put on enough SPF 5 billion.
Your mascara's running. It's a different movie, but it's still funny.
I think I've kind of hit most of the points that I was thinking about talking about for this movie.
Yeah.
This video is definitely ending up a little bit longer than I expected it to.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
not too much.
I kind of expected us to talk about this
movie. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
People need to watch it.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. If you're a Demon Slayer fan, you shouldn't even be hearing this part without knowing that you need to watch it.
Exactly.
That you have needed to watch it and have watched it and now watching this video.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mugen Train. Great movie. Spectacular. The animation, wonderful. Sound, characters, all the little moments, all the sad moments, happy moments.
It's his fighting, but he's still asleep.
Yeah. I mean, that goes to show how annoying he is when he's awake. His best moments are always when he's unconscious.
Yep, when he's unconscious.
Although in this movie they took his annoying conscious mind and made it more endearing.
Yeah.
Because they made it just so freaking goofy. And not as annoying as they do in the first season of the anime.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they kind of tone that down a little bit in the second season. I don't need screaming every 5 seconds.
Way too much.
Yeah. Looking at you, first 50 episodes of Black Clover. But yeah, this movie's great. I don't really have anything left to say about it. And if I do, well, then crap, I guess you don't have to come talk to me about it.
I guess we'll just have to talk when we see it.
Or, maybe we'll do a video on the second season of Demon Slayer since we did this one. Yeah.
Probably.
We've got time to fill, so...
Yes, we do.
We'll have lots of potential to talk about.
Yes, definitely.
But without any further ado, here's to you.
Here's to me.
Friends for life we shall always be.
If by chance we disagree,
then screw you.
Here's to me.
And here's to you. Cheers.
Cheers.